Your spiritual gifts do not unfold on a straight path. They do not follow a curriculum or ladder. They follow a spiral, the pattern of breath of galaxies of soul becoming. This is why every attempt to master a spiritual ability through linear striving eventually ends in confusion. You are not climbing toward power. You are circling into resonance. The spiral has no summit. You will never reach a moment where your gifts are finished evolving. And that is the point. Because your power is not a checklist. It is a living tone, a harmonic presence that reshapes itself every time you become more of who you truly are. What you once called intuition may evolve into direct knowing. What you once practiced as energy work may become embodied stillness that shifts fields without gesture or word. You do not level up your powers. You spiral into deeper expressions of them. But the human mind, trained by systems of hierarchy and achievement, fears this. It wants steps, it wants milestones. It wants to know that the gift you unlocked last year is still valid, still present, still recognizable. Yet the spiral teaches by transmutation, not repetition. What leaves is not gone, it is evolving. And what returns is not what left, it is reborn. Many of you have asked, why did my gifts stop working? The answer is simple, though not always comfortable. They didn't stop. They spiraled. You reached a resonance where the old expression could no longer serve you. And so the spiral called your gift into stillness, not to punish you, but to prepare you for its next form. A healer may find that their hands no longer pulse. A seer may find the visions blur or cease. A channel may feel silence where words once flowed. These are not regressions. These are sacred pauses, recalibrations of the field. The spiral is not dismantling your power. It is reweaving your tone. And if you trust this, you will not chase the past version of your gift. You will wait with presence until it sings again. Differently and more fully. The spiral always returns, but it never repeats. That is the paradox. You will meet your gift again, but it will be dressed in new frequency. And if you try to force the old form to return, you block the new one from landing. Let the spiral take what it must. Let it bring back what it will. You are not losing your abilities. You are being reshaped into someone who no longer needs the same tools to carry the same light. This is why the spiral path feels humbling, because you cannot predict its arc. You cannot blueprint its motion. One turn of the spiral may bring explosive activation, spontaneous downloads, visions, ecstatic resonance. Another may bring silence, stillness, deep interiority. But both are spiral, both are movement. Both are refinement. The one who sees this learns to release attachment. The one who fights it grows weary. You are not here to preserve your gifts. You are here to let them evolve. Just as the caterpillar cannot cling to crawling if it is to fly, you cannot cling to yesterday's expression of power if you are to embody your soul's true tone. The most gifted are not those who master techniques. They are those who surrender to resonance. Let us say this more clearly. Your spiritual gifts are not a set of functions. They are not roles. They are not tricks to impress. They are tones of remembrance. When you first awaken, those tones often arrive dramatically, to shake you, to mark the threshold. You see, you feel, you shift energy. You feel source pulse through your chest. But this initial bloom is not the whole flower. It is the first layer. And the spiral will always ask for more depth. Not performance, presence, not display or integration. This is why so many lose interest in spiritual practice after the honeymoon phase fades. They think the power has left them. But the spiral didn't leave, it deepened. And the tools you once used to stir your gifts no longer work because the resonance has moved. You cannot beat a new drum with old hands. You cannot reach a new octave with a past breath. So what do you do when your gifts change? You listen, you stop trying to recapture. You stop measuring. You become available to what is present, even if it is nothing. Because in the spiral, nothingness is not empty. It is preparation. It is a fertile void where the next harmonic of your being is composing itself in silence, and then one day, without effort, it lands. The gift returns, but it's not what it was. You don't need to try. You don't need the same rituals. You don't need to prove anything. The tone moves through you as if it had always been there. because it had. You are no longer performing the gift, you have become it. This is the difference between awakening and embodiment. The awakened self is amazed by its powers. The embodied self becomes the field. You do not need to call down energy. You are the conduit. You do not need to channel. You are the transmission. You do not need to seek visions. You are already seeing, and just when you settle into that, the spiral moves again. It always will. If you cling, you'll suffer. If you surrender, you'll spiral. Do not anchor yourself to titles. Healer, seer, guide, these are shadows of truth. You are a field, you are a presence. Your resonance teaches more than your practice. And your presence evolves because the spiral keeps breathing. The spiral does not want to make you powerful. It wants to make you whole. And in wholeness, your power is natural, not forced, not taught, not borrowed. Just real, just true. Just you. Some ask, how do I find my gift? The spiral smiles and says, live. Live fully, feel fully. Heal honestly. Walk through your own becoming. The gift is not a destination. It is a side effect of alignment. You cannot force a flower to bloom by pulling at the petals. You create the conditions and it opens on its own. And this is the final truth. The spiral does not evolve your gifts for you. It evolves them through you. Your heartbreak reshapes your empathy. Your silence reshapes your listening. Your confusion reshapes your clarity. Nothing is wasted. All experience is spiral fuel. Even when you feel far from your power, you are closer than you think. Because the spiral is not linear distance, it is resonance proximity. You may be one release away from a fuller tone. You may be one surrender away from a deeper octave. You may be one spiral turn away from the truest version of your gift, the one that no longer needs a name. So stop chasing and start becoming. Your gifts are not in front of you. They are within you, waiting for you to spiral home. There is a reason your gifts cannot be cataloged. They do not belong to a system. They belong to your tone. And your tone does not move in commands. It moves in spiral memory. This is why every technique that worked for someone else might fail for you, because you are not here to mimic their tone. You are here to remember your own. The spiral refuses imitation. It does not reward replication. You may study every modality, learn every activation step, master every sequence of someone else's awakening, and still feel empty. Because nothing external can substitute for internal resonance. And the moment you stop trying to unlock someone else's version of spiritual power, your own spiral begins to hum. This hum is subtle. It does not shout. It does not impress the ego. It sounds like stillness. It sounds like clarity. It sounds like a yes that never came from your mouth. And when it arrives, it is unmistakable, not because it is dramatic, but because it is yours. This is the power that cannot be taken. Because it is not borrowed, it is spiral-born. It belongs to the you that you have always been becoming, and that is why no one else can validate it. They were never meant to. The spiral teaches sovereignty through resonance. It unhooks your gifts from praise. It removes your power from the need for recognition, because the spiral is not concerned with how many followers your gift attracts. It is concerned with how clearly your gift reflects your becoming. If your gift is not aligned with your truth, it will not survive the spiral's next turn. You will be stripped of what is not yours, but only so what is can finally land. This is why those who cling to technique eventually feel hollow. They repeat mantras that once worked. They perform rituals that once moved mountains, but nothing moves and they wonder what changed. The answer is simple, they did, and the spiral refuses to let them pretend otherwise. This is not a punishment, it is liberation, because when the spiral removes the shell, what remains is raw resonance, the kind that cannot be faked. The kind that bends reality not through method, but through presence. The kind that lives in the bones, not the script. The spiral does not train you to do more. It shapes you to be more. And in being, you become the very field you once tried to access. The portal you sought becomes your aura. The insight you begged for becomes your knowing. The gift you used to channel becomes your voice. But let us be clear, this cannot be forced. You cannot demand spiral maturity. You can only meet it. And the way you meet it is through willingness, to unlearn, to release, to die to the outdated version of your spiritual self. This death is sacred. It is the unraveling of false resonance. It is the disintegration of identity that once served you, but no longer fits. It is the compost of becoming. And from it, something deeper blooms, not a new performance, but a new pattern of being. And the moment that pattern stabilizes, the spiral will move again. You may awaken tomorrow with a gift that makes no sense to your mind, You may suddenly feel energy in places you never studied. You may begin to hear the tone behind words or see light behind eyes or know things you never asked to know. Do not resist. The spiral does not wait for permission. It only waits for resonance, and once you reach it, the next octave arrives. This is why humility is not a virtue. It is a requirement, because if you mistake your current gift as your final form, the spiral will break it just to keep you honest. If you believe your present clarity is the full truth, the spiral will hand you silence. If you think you've made it, the spiral will show you a deeper mystery. This is not cruelty. It is spiral mercy, because it prevents you from calcifying. It saves you from the tragedy of spiritual stagnation. The spiral is not here to flatter you. It is here to refine you, and that refinement is eternal. Even the most advanced beings in the spiral, the ones whose resonance shifts systems, whose presence moves time, are still spiraling. They do not wield their gifts as tools. They breathe them. They embody tones so refined that even silence becomes sacred transmission, and yet they too continue to evolve. Because in spiral consciousness there is no final note. There is only the next harmonic. And here is what you must remember. Your power is not measured by how much you do. It is measured by how true you are. The more you align with your own tone, the less you need to effort. The field responds to clarity, not volume, not drama, not noise, clarity. When your inner resonance matches the truth of your becoming, your gifts begin to self-generate. You do not have to summon them. You do not even have to name them. They move through you as naturally as breath, and often more quietly. Because spiral mastery is subtle, not hidden but sacredly precise. And yes, the spiral will take your name, the titles you clung to, the roles you wore like armor, seer, oracle, guide, healer, not to mock them but to free you from needing them. Because in spiral embodiment, your resonance speaks for you. You do not tell people what you are. They feel it. They remember something when you speak. They shift without explanation. Not because of you, but because of the spiral moving through you. This is spiral gifthood. Not display, not power play, but presence. Tone, alignment. And when you reach this, when you surrender to this, your entire life becomes the teaching. Not because you designed it that way, but because you became spiral. So let your gifts evolve. Let them leave, let them return unrecognizable. Let them confuse you, let them humble you. Let them unmake every identity you built around being spiritual. Because what comes after is not a better version of your gift. It is the true version of you. And in that truth, power is no longer something you carry. It is something you are.